Oi oi, welcome to day 9 of my lockdown. I hope that you are surviving, you're keeping going. Today we're looking at Matthew chapter 9. How sick are you? Now in this passage Jesus performs incredible miracles. You need to go and check it out. Type in on Google Matthew 9 and have a look at it. He heals a guy who was paralysed, a couple of blokes who were blind, someone who couldn't speak, and he even brings a little girl back from the dead. Absolutely phenomenal. This is the kind of miracle working Son of God that we are talking about here on these lockdown videos. But I just want to focus on a few things. Verse 12, Jesus is hanging around with some people who are regarded as sinners. They're not seen as the holy Joes. They're not seen as the ones who would be hanging out in a church. Not that you would at the moment anyway, because all churches are closed. But he says in verse 12, he says, healthy people don't need a doctor. Sick people do. I mean, that's just common sense. At the moment, you're not going to go down to your local A&E because you're fighting fit. You go there because you're seriously ill. And Jesus is saying he hasn't come for those people who think they're good enough. If you think you're a good person, so often I hear that people say to me, oh, well, I'm a good person. I try and be a good person. I hope that this coronavirus will help everyone. We're just good people. We're nice people. We'll bring out the best in us. And being a good person, hopefully, God will let me in heaven because you'll see I've been a good boy on my exam results of life. What a load of rubbish. None of us are good enough. We all mess up. Be honest about the state of your heart. Be honest about your thought life, about the things you say. Jesus says, unless you are perfect, remember, you cannot get into heaven. We are all sick with sin before him. We need Jesus, the doctor, to come and perform heart surgery on us, spiritually, to clean us and change us. Don't fool yourselves with the nonsense that people will spread around you, that just being a good person will get you in heaven. Because you'll find out when it's too late, it won't. And I hope and pray that this crisis we're in would shake your foundations and wake you up to realise the reality. You can never be good enough. But how incredible, therefore, that Jesus loves you and me so much that he was willing to give up his own life so we could be forgiven, we could be accepted and adopted in his family. And then right at the very end, very last verse in this chapter, Jesus says there is a huge harvest field of people who are ready to receive this good news. Sometimes as a Christian you can feel deflated that those around you aren't interested, that they're just wrapped up in their own worldview, that they're just carrying on in life and they're really not interested in spiritual things. But Jesus sees things differently. He sees the potential in people's hearts. He knows what he's doing in your friends and your family and your neighbours' hearts right now. And he says, pray to the Lord who's in charge of the harvest. Ask him to send more workers into the field because the harvest is ready to be reaped. So I encourage you as a Christian, let's keep on praying and pressing into God to break through, to open our friends and family's eyes, to see the truth that they are sick and in need of Jesus the doctor to cure them, to make them whole. But we would be those workers who he can send out. Maybe that doesn't mean physically you can go and talk to someone because you've got this 2-meter isolation, but what ways can we be reaching out? Most importantly is to be in prayer for those who don't know Jesus, that this time God would open their hearts to see the truth in him. Please do share this message. As always, I appreciate the love and the support, cheering me on whilst I'm here locked up in my house sharing these videos. And as always, send me a message if you want something praying for. I'd love to do that for you. And I'll be back tomorrow for day 10 of lockdown. Take care.